Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are back with the fifth episode of Markets and Nonsense. I'm Chavan, the host, and along with me, the founder strategist of Indiacharts, Rohit. Uh, Rohit, lot to cover. Where to start? One is the budget, one is the rate cut, uh, bullish or bearish. Be careful uh, before taking up the views. So, just wanted to understand that where do you stand now? I mean, let's start with the budget. you know how do you find it? The capex was definitely missing.
So I'm in a spot.
Mm,
The trade is easier than the big picture view on things. The trade is the simple part. 4 महीने से market गिर रहा था.
mm,
Have we reached a near-term bottom?
mm,
4 months of fall, longest consecutive fall since 9/11. So a trend reversal to the upside was overdue and has happened. And FIs are still short, the highest on record, not yet
mm.
covered. Now,
Yes.
unless we can say that that is directional and it will keep crashing, which has never been the case. In the near term, it always ends up giving us some kind of recovery. So, on an immediate basis, I can't be bearish. Everything else you said is about the potential fundamentals. Has nothing to do with what the charts tell us.
Mm,
So the charts are telling us stay long for now. Uh, Originally, we thought this is an X wave and will be a bear market rally. And right now, not enough reason to change that.
mm,
A lot of confusion in the data points and how they will unfold. When we look at the dollar, bond yields, budget, Trump, a lot of confusion. A lot of things can go this way or that way. And so I am not able to come to a conclusive view right now,
mm.
except for the setup near term.
Okay.
So that is just the reality, and you have to deal with it. If
Mm,
you can't deal with that, you feel that no, I need 100% answer. Then we can cook up 100% answer,
mm,
but it might not be the reality. So let's try cooking that up. And this is what you will read in the news in the next few days when the market goes higher. Right now, it is falling after RBI policy, which is normal. After every RBI policy, there's a 80% strike rate. The market falls first. Hardly एक दो बार ही ऊपर जाता है. So that is just a fact. I mentioned it in my morning short also on YouTube and Twitter that
mm,
this is how it happens. It just happens. Now that it is falling, the question is, okay, how far does it fall and then will it recover further? I think it bounced too little to sell off in a big way, so there should be some more recovery. And then let's cook it up. So let's cook up an all-time high for the market. So budget cuts taxes, very good for FMCG sector, which just reached a 52-week low today. Uh, Fortunately, autos are holding on.
mm.
Rate cuts, very good for auto realty and all that. Right, let's buy real estate at the highest prices ever, which nobody can afford. Rents are better, if you ask me. So I'd rather rent or buy. So at least in Mumbai city, I don't know what other cities, but other cities also it's becoming slowly like that.
Mm.
So when it's cheaper to rent than to buy, how does it make sense beyond a point? Unless you just want to keep it up for the sake of keeping it up. So low interest rates means we should buy multi-crore houses. Uh, where does that leave us, really speaking? So does the first rate? So somebody asked me this also, and they said you said this before. Does the first rate cut is an admittance that we have a slowdown? The answer is probably yes, because it's happening without an inflation slowdown. So if you're
Yes.
cutting rates without an inflation slowdown at an all-time low in the rupee, there's something wrong.
The Yeah, definitely.
So
The consumption is
I
very, very low, especially in the tier 2, tier 3 and all. So, but they have compromised on the rupee now. But do you see the rupee further sliding now, or was it like anticipated about this rate cut and it, just sliding every single day?
So bit of both, because there was some anticipation for sure, but it has been sliding because it was like a spring ना, तुमने दबा के रखा था 2 साल से. You sold $100 billion last year, you sold $70 billion this year out of your reserves just to keep it down. Okay, thus becoming the strongest currency, and as if nobody will understand that, like everybody is blind. So you have created your own problem
Yeah.
by suppressing it and making it the strongest currency. It's called making it strong fakely, not really, because really strong would be if it was because of exports and
Sports.
FDI, which is now the lowest as a percentage of GDP in 10 years or more. So
Mm.
when those are the factors, then you were just fighting the tape. So why were you fighting it? Now they are saying we don't intervene, but that's a new governor. But we intervened like crazy. So then it's not like a small intervention that they did.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Their explanation doesn't really speak about what has happened. So your answer question is, does it save the rupee? Not yet. There's still some more downside left. If I'm looking at the USD INR chart right now, there's still some downside left. So I'm not confident we are done here. In fact, the only way you keep a currency from weakening is you first raise interest rates. So you see what Brazil did. When you look at the Brazilian real, which used to be highly correlated to the Indian rupee earlier, now it is broken away. And they raised rates, controlled the situation, and now they are cutting rates.
Mm.
We didn't go through the whole cycle.
This
So,
will further
yeah.
take up the inflation of up.
So I don't know. It's an unknown. It's become an unknown. But I think surely there is a pressure point, which is why the RBI stance today is neutral. They have
Mm.
cut rates and said our stance is neutral, which means we can go either way. That's very similar to what the Fed did, right? Fed did that exactly in December when
Mm.
they said we can't do anything. We're done with rate cuts for now. And suddenly people went from 6 rate cuts in 2025 to only two or only one.
Yeah. Mm.
So the predictions just changed. And the same thing is here, where when we are saying neutral means we don't know. They are also saying the same thing. We don't know. So that means this rate cut has come under pressure.
Yeah.
Was
Definitely.
not, this was not a required cut.
Mm.
It's just been done. Now we will deal with the real problem which happens, which is either the currency weakens further or inflation comes back. Because with all the tax cuts and other measures, there is a risk of inflation coming back.
Mm. In fact, when we attended the CNBC event, you remember Piyush Goyal, going all out and saying that 50, bips rate cut is a must. This happened like 4 months before, but somehow the RBI was able to hold on last time, but this time they seem to be have given up, by at least pleasing the government by cutting 25 bips. But now the risk of inflation is definitely there. But having
Hmm.
said that, with even Trump is backing off. So, do you see these are all positives for the market, and do you see the overall turnaround, or is it like you still want to, keep your stance that okay, this is just a counter trend in a bear market, whatever the market is going up for the last 10 days, 15 days, or whatever is it, whatever it is. So, do you still want to maintain that this is an X wave?
Definitely, we keep that open, right?
Mm, yeah,
I'm saying it's not conclusive.
yeah.
Uh, you see, the biggest factor in the room is liquidity. We cannot fight liquidity sometimes,
Mm,
and therefore, if you inject a lot of liquidity, markets can go against your every thought.
mm.
We are injecting liquidity right now through RBI measures, through government measures, and so on. So you have to be a little open to the idea of what may be the end result. I will still want to think of it as an X wave. It's also possible that we had a scenario between 2018 and 2020 where, large caps, mid caps diverged. You didn't see significant progress in the market, but there were a lot of moves up and down. more like a large distribution range, rather than a clear cut lower top lower bottom structure. Only in mid caps that happened. So can we have another 2018 to 2020 kind of period also? Is there something to think about, which will mean multiple ways, whether you call it X or it will be something else later on tomorrow, that I don't know. So couple of different scenarios now that can really turn out. We'll just take it stage by stage is what I'm trying to say.
Mm. Okay, so if you can share your screen and just discuss the possibilities on the Nifty chart, that will be great.
So you want me to go into near term possibilities or long term possibilities?
Near-term possibilities, long-term possibilities. I'm sure you're still bearish in the medium term at least, but the short term is somewhere, very, very, uh, it's confusing even for anyone at this moment, because right at the trend line resistance, and I'm not sure how this is going to break. If you
So what you're
just draw,
talking of is you're talking
yes,
of is this trend line resistance.
yes, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what I was, today looking into it. So this is where I'm also confused. So, but having said that, the swing and average swing, it's almost at the top. So at least on the short term, uh, do you see little bit again correction coming because of the market disappointment? Everyone was expecting 50 bips, uh, and the
Really? I
stand.
didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't know
people
anybody was expecting 50 bips.
no, people were expecting 50 bips, but yeah.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
I think the market surprise is not the 25 bips, but that his stance is still neutral, which means it gives no way forward.
Yes, absolutely. Hmm.
And so looking at the chart, you can see my screen, right?
Hmm.
So basically, we have done what we are calling as A, B, and C.
Hmm.
Okay. And what I'm trying to figure out is what happens next. So even if it is an X wave, there is always room to go back to somewhere closer to this, previous high. And we
Hmm.
are somewhere here. And at this point of time, like I said, we have still got the largest shorts from FIIs. So how this can unfold is in two, three different ways. One is it can dip a little more. You can come back to 61%. This can become a larger A, larger B, and then do a C. So it can become a slightly more complex pattern.
Hmm.
It's something I've been weighing every day. It's still not very clearly happening, but it's a possibility. The other one is that you just keep extending with higher highs and higher lows, like you're doing right now. So far, this is 61% of this last rise. You hold this again, and then you again do multiple swings like this. So it will become a nice seven-legged move towards that point.
Hmm.
Now, which of these two ways will you go? We will only know on a day-to-day basis. It's not always possible to anticipate, except that what you said, the swing is high and it is diverging on the way down. That can mean that you get this first. Okay, so you can shake people out a little more. That room to shake out is there, and
Hmm.
then probably pick up again. But I would expect it to pick up once more, simply because, like I said, some short covering should happen. It's not normal for an X wave to end so soon, but who the heck knows? Who the heck knows? I thought even this B wave would have gone up a little more, but it didn't. So
Yeah.
in that sense, bounces this time are being very, very uh, small. Okay. In fact, even FMCG index looked like that. I spoke about it before the uh, budget also, that this is sort of a trouble triple bottom. If anything has to happen, it will happen here. And I wrote on the FMCG index 2 days before, and it shot up, but it's ended so fast without even doing we're doing only a 38% retracement of this fall. Okay, now it is
Hmm.
beginning to look like it's a reverse ABCD,
Hmm.
which means sort of an expanding triangle, which means now C has also started and B is over. And this was the weakest sector over here, right? Probably the first one to have started from the 23rd or 27th of September. If this is already falling, then what's happening next?
If the money is moving out of FMCG, it's understood that you know, market should be going up.
That's also true, but that was not true here.
Yeah,
It was not,
correct.
it was not true from September to November. In
Mm,
a bullish market, yes, we have seen that in a bullish market, people buy everything, sell FMCG because it's not defensive. But in a bear market, I have seen FMCG come to the savior of markets many times by bouncing sharper than anything else. And right now, it is going the other way. I am really, and that also when the government has done stimulation
mm,
by cutting taxes, and nobody wants to own this sector. So we seriously have a problem.
mm. Probably
So now
Delhi election results might be a trigger for the markets now.
I've never been an election buff, so I don't know.
Okay.
Uh, I have not. Yeah, I never try to discount elections except the major ones. The
Mm,
others, I don't know how much weightage to give them from a market point of view.
mm,
But yeah, this. I'm just saying this particular sector is doing something very very different because when you ask about this resistance key, it's failed to break out. Is that bad news?
yeah,
I'm saying no, it's still an X wave. But the
yeah.
FMCG
Not
sector is saying bad news. You see,
not
that is where
necessary
my
that
doubt
it
is.
has to not necessary that it has to break out at the first instance, but still it plays a important
So
psychological barrier.
I had a more bearish view earlier, which I sort of stopped thinking, and that is this C1, C2. I started thinking nahi X hoega because history shows us ABCX, ABCX. What if it's C1, C2? Then we are done. Then we are toast. But yeah, again, we look at this data. The FII short is the only thing confusing. There's a nice
Mm,
50% retracement of the fall that has happened. Wave 2 of C. So just to throw light on the FII data also, uh, and I'll move to a white screen just for the sake of those who find it difficult to see. This is where we are, and this is adjusted for the change in contract sizes from
correct.
75 to 25 in
25.
Nifty, and also in Bank Nifty they have done a similar change of one third. So when we adjust the data, what we are seeing here as possible short covering was actually addition in the next month.
Mm,
Okay, but then we adjust data only after expiry. So this, I mean, unless we divide older data, we will not see it more like this. It would be something like this. So they would have been adding to shorts over there. Okay, and now from there we are seeing some covering, very little bit we've seen on one day. Post I think Monday when the tariffs were pulled back, there was a some covering, but after that it's gone flat. So there's a lot
mm,
of room for this to cover, even if it has to just come back to zero. I'm not even saying they go long. Even if it has to come back here, there's a lot of room. Okay, but
mm,
again, nothing is necessary. But most of the time, when you've reached an extreme like down here, we have seen it pull back, we have seen it cover, and so that is what you usually expect. Things have to turn very very bad for that not to happen.
mm. Okay, got it. But yeah, yours. I mean, the moment you said C1, C2, someone is already saying that okay, this is something he trading hacks is saying that I love the C1, C2 alternate. Uh, yeah, that is worrying enough if you're considering that also. But yeah, we are in a probably a zone where you just need to sit back and see how the market reacts. It's not necessary to have a view every time. um, uh, but Rohit, if you are a confused trader, to what extent you'll sit back now, because people are impatient. They want to trade every single day. This is what I see. If you have no view, they'll still force you to have a view, right? So to what extent, and what is that levels which will okay say that okay, now this is going this way.
For that, people need to attend my intraday Nifty update on India
Mm,
charts
okay.
because in a dynamic scenario, it's continuously changing. I've given you two, three scenarios. Now you have to actually judge which of the scenarios playing out. Is 61% here going to hold and act as support near 23,450? Or is it going to fall towards 23,180 before it goes up? Is something that you have to watch in real time and see. Okay, now if it does hold this, I'll have to wait. The confirmation is that it has to turn positive. This fall should be ABC, not impulse, not five waves. Okay, otherwise the bounce will fail. So those are things we try to judge on an ongoing basis. If this continues to fall for the next 2-3 days and gets down here, then I have to watch whether the swing has become oversold. And are we holding 61%? So if at 61% retracement, my swing is back to 10 or something, then definitely I will look at that as a opportunity to buy for a bounce.
Okay,
So,
before we okay, yeah, go on. Sorry.
so that is what my Nifty thought would be, but it has to be monitored and I have to see what it is doing at that point of time. So right now it is falling. This is the third consecutive day it is falling. And we are waiting to see where the fall ends and where can we find the next entry point. And will that be so C1 C2 is not my top of mind thing. I'm just saying it's possible, but top of mind is still that you should have more short covering or more retracement before you go down. And therefore I'm looking at where will it bottom. Will it bottom here, or will we still lose another 200-300 points before we find a bottom? That is all I'm trying to figure out right now.
Okay. Fine, Rohit. Before we take up the questions, okay. Uh, okay, Shubham Gupta is commenting the market and nonsense series is fantastic. I love the content. Thank you so much, Shubham. Joining the mentorship program has been a game changer, taking my trading skills to the next level. Huge thanks to Rohit sir. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Shubham. Let's take up the questions because I have no questions to ask you right now. So let's take up the questions. Okay. Before we take up the questions, if anyone is interested in our training program, I'm posting a link in the comment section. You can just fill up your details and our team will get back to you. We are starting from March. So if you are interested in our training programs, do fill up the uh, form. Our team will get back. So okay, Atul is asking, do you think US can make a new all-time high? India and US have been diverging continuously. Do you see the US markets going high from here? In fact, ATH.
So part of all this confusion is this only, na? The US market was looking toppish in December, and then it didn't fall. It didn't fall much. It fell a bit, then it's rallied back. Some of the US indices have not gone back to a new high. Okay, like the Nasdaq or the Dow, and the Dow Jones RMI here is on the daily chart already in sell. So are we already starting wave 3 down? And the weaker ones are actually the transports and utilities, which have barely bounced, or the Russell 2000. Okay, so there's a huge divergence going on in the internals of US market. So there's still a suggestive bearish setup here where you have intermarket divergences on. And similar thing is happening between the bond and dollar, right? So we can hear a nice debate. The dollar is falling, dollar has topped out. Some people are taking that view. But on the other hand, have bond yields really bottomed out? And they've fallen a bit. But can I really confirm that this is it? Bond yields will go down now. And the US 10-year is exactly at 61%. Okay, so it's a tricky spot. And on the opposite side, the Japanese bond yields today have made a higher high. I think it's not conclusive. I think there is something amiss, which I'm not able to make out, even though yields have fallen a bit, and even in German and British yields. But I'm not confident of taking a bearish view on yields, which is a bullish view on bonds right away, even though they are cutting rates. This time I'm a little unsure, especially from the US front. I think we just give it some time.
Yeah. So it's a wait and watch from here onwards. Let's see how the market reacts. I'm not sure which side it is going to go on, is what Rohit is trying to say. No views at this moment. Any other questions to all the people who are live on Twitter and YouTube? Do fill up the form for the mentorship program course, what we are starting from March. If you're interested, you can fill it up. Our team will get back to you. And yeah, any other questions we can take up? Rohit, any ending statements before we wind up?
Yeah, here's one more area which creates that confusion, and that is what is happening in the metals. So on the one
Okay.
side, the dollar may not have fallen much, but you have gold running away to a new high.
Mm,
Specifically for gold in India, it's gone up even more because of INR weakness. So definitely, Indian investors have a uh, double win at this stage when it comes to gold.
mm,
But on the copper side also today, I think you're seeing strength in metal stocks. That's coming from a breakout in copper prices. Sorry, yeah, this is the chart. So this triangular structure is breaking on the upside. This creates room for a near-term rally in metals to continue. So these are probably the areas people can focus on. So you'll have to be very very specific about where you focus, what is happening. Uh, but yeah, this is going to be a view that we will take stage by stage. Not a one way view that I can take right now, because a lot of things have to confirm that, yeah, the worst is behind us. I think that's the feeling you're trying to get. Is the worst behind you? Because so many things have been done to push things forward, and you have to just accept that before and the markets also have to reflect it and accept it.
okay. Parthipan, one of the Parthipan Ponnuraj is asking, are you short or waiting to be short or selectively short? No views, no discussing personal this one, unfortunately, but at this moment, no view on the markets. We'll see next week when we meet again. Till
No,
then,
there
thank
is
you
a
so much. Hmm?
there is a view. Why are you saying there is no view? There is a
Uh,
view. They're going to
that,
go higher before we go lower. That is the view.
okay,
People are not
got it.
able to accept it. People want C1, C2. It won't
Hmm,
happen. इतना आसान नहीं है.
hmm,
After 4 months of fall, if you keep expecting every day it will fall, it will fall, it will fall, it's not going to happen. So this is, if you ask me, this is a bear trap in progress. I'm just not saying it's a bull market. A bear trap is not equal to bull market. A bear trap is equal to bullish rally,
hmm.
which is a retracement of the fall.
But Rohit, if this is a X wave can still go up to all time high,
So take it.
near the all
I,
time high.
so I didn't. That's why I told you have to keep it open. It can be a B wave. All time high means B wave.
Hmm,
You can get an expanded flat in B wave also.
correct.
So that is why I'm saying that directionally, I'm not saying it is going down. I'm sorry if
Hmm,
that's what that would be wrong communication. Directionally, I'm not saying we are going down, but are we in a bull market? That story is not conclusive. We've already said we are. You're always scared, because governments are jumping in and they can change this situation for some time with liquidity. That is not in your control,
hmm,
and they are throwing liquidity. Everybody is doing it except the US right now. And that's why Germany is at an all-time high, right? We didn't look at the German DAX. It's at an all-time high. It's broken records. The FTSE broke out a couple of weeks ago from a triangle, and all of this is happening because they are cutting rates ahead of others. India has just started, so can India go back to an all-time high? Why not?
let's wait and
Why not? You can't be bearish in a bullish setup. Okay, we can call it an X wave, but an X wave is upwards, not downwards. And it's not over till it's over. And there is no evidence that it's over. That's the main point.
okay. With this, let's end the episode, Markets and Nonsense, episode number 5. We'll see you next week. Just thank you, Rohit. Thanks for your time. Thanks to all the viewers. We'll catch up next week. Till then, take care. Bye bye.